All right, folks, you're watching NFL Daily, presented by Man Crates. I am Cam Rogers. That guy right there is Tom Downey. Let's go through the latest NFL rumors, and we've got some good ones. Trade rumors, Dez Bryant rumors, Dante Fowler. Will he be dealt to the Jets? The Jets have been active, Tom.
Well, the Jets are calling everybody because they know they don't have enough at edge rusher. And like, okay, well, who could be dealt? How about Dante Fowler? Now,
why not?
We'll list him as defensive end there. He could be an outside linebacker. But, Cam, you mentioned this on your show this morning. I very much agree with you. Why not a Dante Fowler for Teddy Bridgewater trade? Jets get their edge rusher. Jags get their better quarterback, because I refuse to believe in Blake Bortles.
I agree. Now, the problem is, I think Jacksonville is just too stubborn with Blake thinking that he's going to be a good quarterback.
I agree.
And he's just not going to. So who says no to this? Dante Fowler, Teddy Bridgewater, straight up? I think it's Jacksonville.
I would say yes if I was Jacksonville, but I agree with you. I think in the end they say no and say, you know what, we're going to stick with our edge rusher for one more year, help out our elite defense, and Blake will be fine. Look how close we got last year.
Exactly. A throwaway. We're good. We'll go back to the AFC Championship and then beat the Patriots this time. We promise. We'll see what happens. Obviously, the Jets have been quite active in terms of looking for a pass rusher, because this came through the wires before coming on air. The Jets, according to the New York Daily News, reached out to the Oakland Raiders about a Khalil Mack trade. All these Raiders fans out there, Tom, are getting mad at me because I was talking about a Mack trade and all this stuff on the 49ers report. And, guys, it's happening. People are asking about it.
Look, the reality is that if the Jets weren't calling, if the Raiders weren't listening, neither GM is probably doing their job. Because when you see a player who hasn't agreed to a contract and is holding out and is clearly not pleased with his organization, you need to look at other options for both sides. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to pull the trigger on those options. And frankly, Cam, I don't think the Jets will pull it off, because that's kind of all I think they'd be able/willing to offer. 2 firsts and Jordan Jenkins, who just isn't all that good.
I just don't think it's enough.
The Packers can offer more. The Bills can offer more. So the Jets can try as they might, and unless no one actually wants to give up multiple firsts for Khalil Mack, which I find a little bit tough to believe, I think they'd have a tough time finding a way to pull off that deal, because if the Raiders were to actually move Khalil Mack, which again I don't think they'll do in the end, they can get more than I think just that from the Jets.
Funny comment.
You're chuckling here. What do you have?
The funny comment here at YouTube Live. My guy, Daddy Smokes. The Jets would get Mack and Fowler and still be garbage. Well, maybe at the quarterback position. For now, we'll see how Sam Darnold pans out. Hey, speaking of the Jets, maybe Teddy Bridgewater could be on the move, but the Broncos are out for now. We'll see.
I didn't really consider Denver to be a strong landing spot, kind of like we said when we went through our 5 teams that could trade for Teddy Bridgewater. They're committed to Case Keenum, and frankly, Chad Kelly has actually looked okay. And if you're Denver, if you're not going to play Teddy Bridgewater this year, which I think in reality is their preferred outcome, do you want to give up a, let's say, 4th or 3rd round pick for a backup quarterback who will also be a free agent?
Especially if you're high on Kelly, which seems to be the case.
It's not high on Paxton Lynch. They got to be high on somebody. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Kelly now gets all the developmental time. Paxton Lynch gets thrown to the sideline.
With the clipboard.
With the clipboard, if that. I don't know if they trust him with that at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Poor John Elway and Vance Joseph. All right, we'll see.
Make the right call and you'll be better off.
We'll see if Teddy is on the move, but I think all signs right now are pointing to Teddy staying unless an injury happens at a starting quarterback position.
Which, unfortunately,
could happen.
Might go down.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the New England Patriots here, recently cutting Kenny Britt, who was getting a lot of buzz throughout training camp in the preseason, Tom. So make that Britt, Malcolm Mitchell, Jordan Matthews, Eric Decker recently signed.
We'll get to it.
He's dropping passes.
So with Kenny Britt, and you're very excited here, Cameron. I appreciate it. I was very surprised by this because he had drawn good reviews from camp. I thought he was going to start. I thought cutting Malcolm Mitchell and Jordan Matthews said, yeah, we feel good about Kenny Britt. Now you look at their receiver depth chart, and yeah, they got their slot guys. Edelman, by the way, is suspended for 4 games.
It's not good.
You're looking at Chris Hogan, who I'm even higher on now than I was originally, Cordero Patterson, and Eric Decker, and question marks galore.
Pretty much.
So, Cam, go ahead.
With that, will Dez Bryant sign with the New England Patriots? I have been saying since May, Tom, that this is going to happen. It makes so much sense from so many different perspectives. The Patriots need somebody at wide receiver, especially within those first 4 games, because Julian Edelman is suspended. Already rattled off some names. Matthews, Mitchell, they didn't make the team. Britt recently released. Who's going to be that alternative red zone target off of Rob Gronkowski? Dez Bryant could be that guy.
I didn't agree with you necessarily at the beginning of it because I thought the Patriots were fine with when they had Kenny Britt and Mitchell and Jordan Matthews. They already had too many receivers. They've cut 3 guys that I thought had a good chance to make the roster. So Cam, I think it makes a lot more sense now.
Throwing up the X?
Yeah, I'll throw up the X for you.
88 in the comments section. Should the Patriots sign Dez Bryant? Let us know. 88 or 00 in regards to that.
It makes a lot more sense. And like you said, they did cite Chad Ochocinco, so they can handle.
So what you're saying is you're now jumping on board here in August of 2018 when I was on board for, well, 2 months now.
Yes, things have changed, and I now think your argument makes more sense.
Oh, welcome aboard, Tom. I'll
Thanks,
allow
buddy.
it. All right, folks, we are presented by Man Crates. Do you know an awesome guy who needs a gift? At Man Crates, gifts are carefully curated like a museum, but actually exciting. Check them out, mancrates.com. Boxes full of testosterone. Get it done today. All right, really interesting story here. Talk about the rich getting richer. George Iloka signing with Minnesota.
Vikings are all in this year.
That's fun.
If they don't win the Super Bowl, it's kind of a disappointment. Now, you can make the playoffs, have a good year, but you went out and you added Kirk Cousins, you added George Iloka, you added Sheldon Richardson, you retained a lot of your key players as well. You're in good shape on defense. This defense was the best in the NFL last year, and they got better at safety with George Iloka coming in. And Andrew Zadeo now becomes the number 3 guy, which I think is a better role for him anyway. Smith, Iloka, and Zadeo can all kind of play the strong safety, free safety role. They'll line up all over the field. This Vikings team is loaded on defense. I will make note of this, though, Cam. The one concern that's pointed out by Chance Johnson on Facebook in the comments, no offensive line additions. They're a little bit thin up front there. There weren't many guys to add there, but that is the big potential red flag for Minnesota.
All right, big signing there for the Vikings. Let's talk about a different safety now who's still looking for a team. Eric Reid, perhaps back with the 49ers. Shanahan is open to it, but he doesn't think Reid is willing to be a backup.
Eric Reid has kind of hinted that he wants to get his base salary, which is a little over $5.5 million from last year. He doesn't want to sign for the vet minimum. And if you're the Niners, why would you offer more? A, you're fine at safety right now. B, no one else wants Eric Reid. Why bid against yourself? And then C, in the end there, if you're Eric Reid, kind of ruins your collusion case.
Yeah, of course.
Which hurt him getting signed anyway, because you can't sue your employer and then go show up to work again.
Yep, that grievance case still ongoing in there with Reid as well as Colin Kaepernick. Let's check in with Jimmy Smith. He has been suspended for 4 games for threatening and emotionally abusing his former girlfriend. Not good.
Just make note of this before we move on, because this is a classic NFL move. If you play ball with us in any type of disciplined situation, you won't get the 6 games that Zeke got. We'll knock it down to 4. We'll knock it down to 3 for Winston. If you play ball and save us time, we'll ignore our own rules and make it easier on you.
Welcome to the NFL.
The NFL has no consistency in their discipline process because they make it up as they go, and it bothers me, Cam. I don't like it. This should have been a 6-game suspension.
Let's talk about Clay Matthews. Could he get an extension at some point? Well, the Matthews camp and the Packers are talking as we stand.
I think they're trying to lessen his cap hit for this year potentially. It's a little bit high, and they have always liked Clay Matthews, but I think in terms of his next contract, it will not be a $10 million a year deal.
No.
That's too much for him.
Hey, by the way, Tom, Carlos Henderson wants back. Hey, guys, I'm here. Recently met with John Elway, hoping to bring him back.
He's been away from camp for a personal issue. I don't know if he makes the roster, but he could be a practice squad guy because he's been away for quite some time out of the offense. He needs some time to develop, so we'll see what happens there with Henderson, but he might not make this roster.
All right, folks, Junior Galette is looking for a new team out there. But first, a little shout out there to Mizzen in Maine. They are giving us these comfortable as F shirts. I've got a bunch of them in my closet right now, Tom. Wear them out, wear them on air right here. So versatile.
Yeah,
exactly. Can sleep with them. No judgments at all. Comfortable.af.
Especially after a late night.
There you go. Comfortable.af is the website. More NFL rumors here. Junior Galette won't be joining the Rams.
So much for Sean McVay saying it was a good possibility, right?
Right.
They've changed their mind there. Watch out for the Seahawks. They need edge rusher help. Galette can fill that role.
All right, let's talk about the Bills here because Josh Allen is starting week 3 of the preseason. Will he start week 1 of the regular season?
Well, A.J. McCarron could be good to go for week 1 after not having, as it turns out, a fractured collarbone as initially reported. So that's a good sign there for McCarron. Allen's going to get his chance. I think in reality this is good for his development. I would still bet on McCarron or even Nathan Peterman being your week 1 starter, but this is still a promising sign for Mr. Allen.
Meanwhile, with the Dallas Cowboys, will Randy Gregory be starting at end?
It's the minutia of who starts.
Yes.
I still think the outcome, this is kind of what's been hinted at as well by the Cowboys, that on base downs, Tyron Crawford is your defensive end. In nickel sets, as we saw in the preseason, Gregory is on the outside. Crawford is your 3-4 or your 4-3 under tackle as a pass rusher guy, back to where he was originally drafted out of Boise State. So Gregory's going to play a lot this year for the Cowboys. I don't know if he'll be a starter in terms of the first guys that come out on the field.
Right.
But he's going to get pretty close to starter snaps this year, I think. The Cowboys are very happy with him.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us here on NFL Daily. For Tom Downey, I am Cam Rogers. Take care, guys.